Mr. Abraham, first of all, for you, what were some of the conference highlights?
There's a lot. And it begins with the hospitality of the people here. I felt welcome right at the outset. And throughout, the quality of food, the what should I say, the music that was put on, it's just been superb. It's been superb. It's been wonderful being with the Romanian people. So that's number one. Secondly, I go to a lot of conferences. And the quality of the work that was done in the sessions is exceptionally high. Now, I'm a skeptic about going to conferences, and usually I do them professionally. This one, I would say that the number of poor papers that were not very clear or weren't up to speed, is just so few, it's incredible, of the ones that I attended. So one of the highlights was simply, it was a feast. It was an utter intellectual feast. And so this means that I'm going to be bringing a lot of stuff back with me. As an observer of the Orthodox world and a friend of the Orthodox world, I'm fascinated by the way in which the conference has brought together a whole network of people who normally, I think, don't talk to one another. And the impression of the Orthodox tradition often up until now has been, you know, we have our own resources, we're completely self-sufficient in and of ourselves, and we really don't like the West and we don't need the West. That's gone. So there's a sense in which there's a sea change that's gone on, in which the borrowing from the West is done with care, it's done very authentically, and it's done very naturally, and it's done non-polemically. And that's a major shift, which is a highlight of this conference. I suppose one of the last things that I'll mention in terms of what I got, these conferences, you meet people from all over the world. So I've met, for example, a Brazilian Roman Catholic priest who was giving a paper here. We had dinner, we had lunch together. And to share what's happening in his world and to get his perceptions of the Orthodox world and to make a friend that will probably last a lifetime, even though we'll live in very different parts of the world. So the cross-fertilization, the interaction with the people who come here, it is incredibly fulfilling and incredibly stimulating.
Thank you. And now, what are your hopes for IOTA and its role in the global Christian community of scholars?
Now, I think this is a historic moment for the Orthodox tradition. I was fascinated by Metropolitan Kallistos' lecture at the beginning and the amazing reception that got. It's obvious the Orthodox are facing serious challenges. And it's not just Ukraine, it's wider questions about women, about how you engage in the political arena, how you're going to take up the challenges that are currently in place. But I think the way this is organized, it's a network of scholars. And the mining of the Orthodox tradition for its treasures, without anybody else being sort of interfering with you, is very important. There needs to be a conversation inside Orthodoxy. And so the way in which this has been conducted and the care with which it's been conducted is superb. And so the significance of it in that respect is incredible. Now, looking at, again, as an outsider, the wider developments in Orthodoxy, you've got serious problems with unity. But you're going to have friendships, and you're going to have scholars working through some of these issues. And the way I like to compare it, like scholars are like really good chefs if they do their work well. And they can produce some beautiful sort of feasts and so on. But eventually the church has to sort of decide which of these is going to really feed the people and which is really going to, say, produce unity. So I think the historic part of this is you've started a process here where you can help bishops now figure out what are the landmines that have got to be negotiated, what are the insights that need to be harvested, and how might the Orthodox Church move forward in the light of, say, the difficulties that you have with unity. And one other thing that I'd want to bring to your attention, which would appeal to me, which I think is very important. Change happens often through two things: small groups and big meetings. You need the small groups for intimacy and friendship. That's what you get when you join, say, one of the groups here, and you work your way through, say, the philosophical section of the conference. You make friends, you go back home, you connect on the on Facebook and all that kind of thing. You share your research. So there's a friendship and there's a small group there. But you need to know that you belong to something big. So you're not out there isolated in a silo on your own. And this conference, with the networking and the number of people that are here, that augurs exceptionally good for the long-term future of scholarship within the Orthodox tradition.
Okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Abraham.
That enough?